talk about some key decisions on RSUs upon vesting. All right, so what are some of the key things you should think about when RSUs vest in terms of taxes, right? Income taxes, payroll taxes, and so forth. So what do we know? So Texas, as we know, is an up-and-coming state. We have a lot of tech workers coming into the state, especially into Austin. And it's become a very attractive place for tech workers because of the favorable climate, lower cost of living, and so forth. One of the methods of compensating tech workers or corporate workers in general are called restricted stock units. So what are some of the tax impacts of these RSUs? All right, what we know about RSUs is that they're granted. They have a vesting period. It could be over 4 years, maybe 25% could be vested every year or some sort of schedule like that. And then so they're granted to you, and then they're vested, meaning they're yours. And upon vesting, they're taxed. Okay, so what typically happens is that enough shares are sold to cover the tax, which is remitted to the IRS, right? So in the typical tax rate is called the supplemental rate of 22%. And also you pay Social Security 6.2%, and then Medicare at 1.45. But Social Security has a cap. For the 6.2, Medicare is unlimited on your income. Okay, so RSUs, as I mentioned, are withheld at the supplementary rate, but the common problem that folks find is that if you're above the 22% marginal tax rate, so say you're in the 24 or higher tax rate, you're basically not withholding enough taxes. So this is kind of a common dilemma that tech workers or those in corporate jobs that get RSUs face, is that they're just not withholding enough. They think they are, and then they find out when they file their taxes that they actually didn't withhold enough. So they end up owing the IRS money, and sometimes you can even be having to pay underpayment penalties, right? So the income tax system is a pay-as-you-go system. So you need to do enough withholding during the year for your income taxes or pay estimated payments. So one way to solve this is to look at your W-4. So your W-4 is when you first start a job, you fill out a W-4 and it indicates how much you want withheld. So it could be single, married, filing joint. So typically single, you would withhold more money each paycheck. In married, filing joint, you would withhold less. So you would have to look at your W-4, adjust your withholding, perhaps talk to a financial planner or a CPA to kind of determine what is the correct amount of withholding since I have these RSUs. All right. The only problem is it's not an exact science. You can try to calculate as best as you can how much withholding you're going to need to do, but in the end of the day, there's so many variables that come into play. So it's your income, if you're married, if you're single, all these other types of things. So it's very difficult. So what I typically recommend is try your best. Perhaps pay estimated tax payments or adjust your withholding on your W-4. So these are things you can do, and then also have an emergency fund. So when you actually file your taxes, you have enough to pay the tax bill. Okay, so in the end, I think RSUs are not very complicated. I think a lot of people make them out to be complicated. I just kind of look at them as a bonus in the form of stock, right? But the complication is on a stock exchange where the price changes. So when they're actually granted and when they're vested, the price will most likely be different. They could be up or down or whatever the case would be. All right, so reach out to me on the contact page below if you want to learn more about how RSUs fit within your financial plan and goals. Have a great day.